ShopSite shopping cart software creates static HTML pages for all of your category pages and your product more information pages in your ShopSite store. Static pages mean that the pages are created and stay on the server regardless of if someone's viewing them or not. So it's great for search engines to find your pages, and it makes it so the pages load faster. They don't have to be built every time a customer comes to your website. So when you click on My Store, you'll be taken to your home page, index.html, and if you click on any one of your categories, you can name each page so it's specific and search engines know what the page is about just based off the file name. So for my drills page, the file name is drills.html. For my hand tools page, the file name is hand-tools.html. So it's good for search engines to repeat one of your keywords in your title or your file name for your page. Now, because they're static pages, the content is on the server and it stays that way until you rebuild the pages. So anytime you make changes to a page or to a product, in order for those changes to take effect on your store, you need to republish your website. So for example, if we want to change the price of this hammer to $13, say it's on sale, we have to go into the back office, click on Products, find that hammer, so it's this one, do Edit Product Info, and change the price. So let's make it $13. Save changes, and the Publish tab pops up letting you know that there's changes in your store that need to be published. So if I click on Publish, ShopSite is going to generate the pages that were affected. So it's going to generate the hand tools page, it's going to generate the home page, things like that, because this product is listed on all of those pages. So if I go back to my hand tools page, and if I refresh, that's when the change will take effect, and you can see that the page is now updated. So with ShopSite, when you're publishing your store, like I mentioned, it's only going to publish those pages that were affected. You can force a publish if you want to regenerate your entire website, just making sure that all of your changes are live. You can go to Utilities, click on Publish, and then click on Regenerate, and ShopSite will rebuild the entire website, every single page, regardless of if there's new changes or not. Now you can also have some control over what's published and what's not published. For example, if I go back to Utilities and click on Publish, you'll see a lot of different options here. During the publish, when your site is being published, ShopSite's going to be indexing your products that are on pages that are indexable for the search. So if you don't want to index your products, or if you know you're not using the search field, you can turn off the index and it'll make your publish go a little faster because it doesn't have to be indexing those products. I'm going to leave it back on because I do want all of my products to be indexed, so when I add new products, they're added to the index. Publishing your files, your CSS and JavaScript and other published files, are the files that control extra things in your store. Most of the ShopSite themes include published files, specifically for the CSS, but some of them include JavaScript files for customer registration or the mini cart. So you want to make sure that you're always publishing the published files. For the Generate HTML pages during an update, you usually want to keep this one checked because anytime you publish, you're going to want to rebuild those pages. The only time I decide not to generate HTML pages is if I know I only want to do the published files, or I only want to do the index, or if you have an Order Anywhere button on your website rather than having ShopSite build your pages. You may want to turn off Generate HTML pages because in that case, you're never building pages in ShopSite. These settings are mostly how your publish works, whether you want to display the products that are being added, whether you want to display in your store page code what HTML files you're using. These are kind of just for your preference, and you'll get more familiar with them if you need them. For this pagination section, that's for additional pages. For example, if I go into my pages, and let's go to the drills page and do edit page layout, And for my pagination, let's say we only want 12 products per page. So save changes, publish, and then if I go to my drills page, ShopSite automatically creates the additional pages needed for drills. Now in the publish setting, when you're under utilities and publish, this is going to say the maximum number of pages that can be created. So if I have so many products that there's going to be 20 different pages that are created, each with 12 products, I may want to make it so it's limited down to only 10 pages, and that 10th page will include all of the extra products. So it'll most likely have more than 12 products. So some merchants, they don't want customers to go through 27 pages of products. They want to limit it. The default is 10-page limit. Down here you have additional features like the Google Sitemap or custom pages. These are preferences if you want them to be published. If you are using the Google Sitemap, I would suggest to have it generated every single time you publish. So it's always new, it always has the latest pages. However, if you're not using Google Sitemap, which is configured under merchandising up above, if you're not using the Google Sitemap, you can turn this feature off. Same with custom pages. If you're not using custom pages, and most stores aren't because it's just a legacy option, then you can turn this off. However, when you turn it off, you will get a warning every time saying you're not using it. So let me just show you what that looks like. If I turn these off and click on Regenerate, I'll get a warning at the top saying I did not generate the sitemap. You don't need to if you're not using it. It might throw you off a little bit since you're getting a warning, but it's just letting you know the Google Sitemap is not being generated. To turn off that warning, just choose to generate it, and if you're not using it, it's not going to make a difference. So if you go to Utilities and click on Publish, you can just turn those back on. You can always change these settings and then just click on Save, and it won't regenerate, but those settings will take effect next time you publish. This completes the video tutorial on the Publish screen in ShopSite.